G'day folks, it's Quentin here, long time no chat. I'm here at the Disability and Ageing Expo. What is that in my eye? Yuck. Hang on. It's a bit better. Alright, as I said, here at the Disability and Ageing Expo. Basically, an info place for lots of things that are for disabled people. As you can see, you can have your car converted. Amongst other things. Something very special I want to show you. It's very cool. If you're a gadget geek like me, you're gonna love it. Let's just speed. How was that? Going for a ride? Love it? Like it? Okay guys, so what I'm going to show you is the new wheelchair I want. Now, the new wheelchair I want, guys, is 6-wheel drive. Have a look at this. Guys, it's 6-wheel drive. It's got iPhone connectivity and it's going to basically go anywhere, do anything. The problem is, guys, that it costs a bucket load of money. A bucket load of money that I don't have. The other one that's really cool is this one. I'll navigate my way through. Look at this bad boy. That can go on sand, dirt, mud, you name it. Wherever you want to go, it'll go. And it can make you go up to a regularly normal height, which I think is bloody cool. Now, because I'm advertising this for them, I'm hoping they're going to give me a good price. So, if you're disabled, this happens once a year. Kelly Vincent opened the event earlier today. The Honourable Minister for the Dignity for Disabled Party.
Thank you all so much for having me here today. I think that this is one of the most exciting times to be holding such an expo, given the amount of change that we've seen in the political and therefore the disability landscape over even as recent days, in the last couple of days. So I'm very excited to be here with you today and to share a bit of my knowledge and my hopes for the future of the disability community here in South Australia, which is something that myself and my party, Dignity for Disability, remain 100% committed to delivering. I'm sure I'm talking to a lot of people who are already aware of this, but as I just mentioned, there's been a lot of change in our landscape, both politically and in the disability sector over the past couple of days. I'm of course talking about the Prime Minister, Julia Gillard's announcement that the government will commit to a national disability insurance scheme over the next 7 years. Whilst it is greatly frustrating that this scheme will take 7 years, and therefore it will take 7 years for people with disabilities to achieve an acceptable standard of service and therefore an acceptable standard of living and access to their society. It is heartening to see that this announcement has at least been made and that the government has at last stood up and committed to people with disabilities as they should have done a long, long time ago. Of course, there is also some concern over the fact that we have not yet seen a deadline for the initial work of the implementation of the scheme to be completed. But I have been in touch with the Federal Minister for Disabilities, the Honourable Jan McLucas, over the last 2 days, and she's promised to keep me informed as to what progress is made in this regard and when that initial work will be completed. And then, therefore, when we as a sector can work toward moving forward and achieving and fulfilling human rights for people with disabilities. A national disability insurance scheme will mean that everyone with disability, everyone who cares for a person or people with disability, and anyone who in fact cares for people with disabilities, and in fact anyone who cares about human rights here in Australia, can look forward to a better future. The scheme will offer a guarantee of lifelong support, and will offer us choice in how we access our services and how we access our community and our society. So, a national disability insurance scheme will mean basically that human rights are much more achievable for people with disabilities, and that we, as people, as humans, can access our society on an equal basis with all others. I'm very excited about this announcement for all of the obvious reasons, but mostly because it will mean a better life for so many people. It will stop the anguish for people who can't live their lives fully because there is no support for them to do basic things like showering, just an example. It will halt the postcode lottery, which is a name sometimes given to the fact that what you get in terms of disability services can often depend on where you live. And that is wrong for many reasons, but primarily wrong because human rights know no bounds, particularly not geographical bounds. And the most wonderful thing about this reform is that it comes in tandem with the plans for aged care reform. We are now looking at an Australia which is prepared to care for all of its citizens in a long-term sense, and which will plan for transitions between care services. This really has the potential to be a bright new future. Of course, not everything is perfect. The details of both reforms are yet to be heard. We will need to be vigilant in making sure that these plans get released. As these plans get released, we examine them carefully and work with the government and all other departments to ensure that these plans are fulfilled in the most human rights and person-centred way, as well as in an efficient manner. People with disabilities will need to work together to make sure that we are not forgotten during this transition period. I think it goes without saying that this government has treated people with disabilities as an excuse for much rhetoric and little action over the past few years, so this is a unique opportunity for us to come together and move human rights forward for people with disabilities. While this has been an exciting and a special week, it is still tinged with sadness for me, because I know that for some people out there, change will come too late. They will not survive the inventing years, and they will not get to experience the better Australia that we will have on offer once it comes into play. Progress is finally being made, but this is not an excuse for letting go of the lack of regard that this government has held people with disabilities and their families in for far too many years. This scheme is really nothing more than a catch-up on a human rights front for Australia. However, I do not wish to dwell too much on the negatives, because this has on the whole been a great week. We have of course seen also the exciting news that South Australia will see a change in Premier come the 20th of October. The Honourable Jay Weatherill, who is currently still fulfilling his role as Education Minister, has promised to have inclusion for all people, including people with disabilities, as a main focus for his time as Premier, and I look forward to very much holding him to account on that regard and working with him in this respect. But as I said, this has on the whole been a very exciting few weeks for people with disabilities, and given that this is such a positive event, I wish to not to focus too much on the negatives. So I wanted to open this wonderful event with some words about how valuable it truly is. To have this fantastic resource as a part of the year where people can come and learn about what services are available to us as people with disabilities is especially important. Events like this give people with disabilities and the aging the ability to be informed and therefore empowered by choice. And that is something that I stand for with my party, with our slogan being dignity through choice. So I'm very happy to officially declare the 2011 Adelaide Disability Ageing Expo open. Thank you.
Great girl. Knows a lot. Let me show you some more. So that's what it's all about. Helping disabled people out when they need it. And hey, we all need help every now and again. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.